残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になれ青い風が今胸のドアを叩いても私だけをただ見つめて微笑んでるあなたそっと触れるもの求めることに夢中で運命さえまだ知らない痛いけな瞳
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been 1.5 months since our general elections, but some of us, we still have some deep impressions from the general elections. Iconic moments, and by moments, I mean memes. But one man stood out from all the rest. His name is Charles Yeo. His name is Charles Yeo. The memes about him performed even better than Daddy James. Even Ho Ching spoke out in defense of him. The main event that actually put him in the spotlight was the Reform Party's political broadcast for Ang Mo Kio GRC. He stuttered and stumbled over his Chinese speech, and that really caught the hearts of the Singaporeans. In fact, he was not supposed to deliver the Chinese part, but his colleague Darren So called in sick and he had to fill in. Of course, today we're not going to rag him on that. We're going to go through his English speech. I'm going to tell you what went wrong and what I feel can be improved. Hey, who are you? You think you're very pro, man? I must tell you, I'm a professional MC. So I do know a thing or two about public speaking and engaging the audience. I'll be breaking it down, giving some feedback for all you future politicians out there. You're welcome. Here's a disclaimer though, it's not that he's a bad speaker, he's a practicing lawyer. So it must make sense that he is able to speak and conduct himself well. But I think we can all agree that this political broadcast is not a good example to go by. So let's get into it.
Dear voters of Ang Mo Kio GRC, I'm Charles Yeo and I'm honoured to be standing with my teammates as a candidate for the Reform Party. We will be addressing you today in English, Mandarin and Malay. We deeply apologise in advance for there being no Tamil speaker available to address the Ang Mo Kio electorate in Tamil, and we know that the Indian community, of which the Tamil community is a subset, has always given us its fullest support.
So the first thing you want to notice about his posture is that he is set back in a very relaxed posture. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. The difference is I'm not asking you to vote. It gives people an impression that you're not taking this seriously. So one thing you want to do about posture, sit upright, or sometimes lean a bit forward as you look into the camera. So this helps to show a bit of enthusiasm. When you lean forward, you want to connect better with your audience.
All of us in the Reform Party team, led by Kenneth J. Ratnam, are well aware that our first and foremost duty is to you, our constituents. And
now, another thing you notice about Charles in this speech is that Charles has been looking down on the script in a speech where you want to address people and you want to ask people to vote for you. One of the ways that you want to connect is via eye contact. Looking down at the script, of course, it helps, but you're doing it at the cost of connection with your audiences. Your audience don't see you looking at them. It doesn't feel like you are addressing them. Instead, it feels like you are delivering an oral exam, which is why so many memes were made about him.
Numerous residents we met on our walkabouts complained that they have not seen their MP or only very
And here you go. And suddenly he shifts his posture. It's lopsided, it's slanted, it's not upright. It kind of shows people that he is not serious about it. He probably is. If not, why would he be running for office in the first place? But the body language gives off a different impression.
Claims of dedication ring hollow unless one is prepared to be a full-time MP. It is a matter of common sense. If one is to be engaged
That feels a bit like he's going off script, right? Trying to come up with words to say at the top of his head. What makes it awkward there? It felt like he was lost in thought while talking to us. So how can we do better for this? No! I look at where his eyes were. It wasn't looking at the camera, it was looking at somewhere else. Imagine he did this instead. It is a matter of common sense. If one is to be engaged with their full-time job, it would make sense that he does not have energy to be concerned with the matters of the citizens. Bruh. So what that does is that I had locked eye contact, and because of that, there is that connection that tells people that you want to tell them something serious. So people won't be distracted by the awkward pause. The pause feels a lot more intentional. So with this, right, it feels that I am trying to tell you something and I'm pausing intentionally to hold your attention. Does it feel that way?
And I finally implore you, if you want to change for the better, please make sure to go out and vote on polling day.
Here's the last point. When he was asking you to go out to vote on polling day, he was still looking at his script. He was still looking on his piece of paper. It feels like he is reading out a message as opposed to telling you to go out and vote. If you're making a call to action, you want to tell your audience, hey, please go out and vote for the Reform Party. Once again, that eye contact makes it feel like you are delivering this message to your audience as opposed to reading off a brochure. For comparison, I want to give you another example. Let's look at the leader of the opposition, Mr. Pritam Singh. If Jamus is daddy, Pritam is big daddy. Pritam has been in the political scene for a much longer time, and a lot of people respect him because he was able to connect with the people.
Own self! Take own self!
We're going to look at his political broadcast, and I'm going to share with you some of the positive examples that we can take away from Pritam.
Dear voters of Aljunied GRC, for this general election, the Workers' Party team for Aljunied GRC consists of 3 returning candidates, Sylvia Lim, Faisal Manap, and myself, who have served you for the last 9 years. With the retirement...
Right off the bat, you notice something that is very different. He has an upright posture, and as he reads, he spends more time looking up into the camera, not just looking up haphazardly, because he knows that he is delivering this message to the viewer. This is something that you want to incorporate if you are delivering speeches, even in your Zoom meeting. Another thing, remember earlier I told you about Charles's pauses. Why does it feel awkward? Because he wasn't looking at the camera. Here I'm going to show you a pause from Pritam, and it doesn't feel awkward. It feels engaging.
Cyclical works to renew the estate have been ongoing, such as repainting, rewiring, and the renewal of playgrounds and exercise areas.
And another thing about Pritam, earlier we mentioned Charles's call to action, asking for people to vote for the Reform Party while reading it off the script. Take a look at Pritam's delivery for the call to action.
Make your vote count. Vote for the Workers' Party.
Yeah, baby!
Good eye contact. He's looking at you, he's asking you to vote for the Workers' Party. The elections are like a job interview. Like I mentioned in the previous video I showed in, most candidates aren't public figures and most of us don't know who they are. Only really find out about them when they announce about their candidacy, and those 2 weeks are crucial to help the electorate understand more about them and why we should vote for them. Like Lee Kuan Yew said,
this is not a game of cards, this is your life and mine.
it's an important decision, and it's not so much of what you say, it's more of how you say it. Non-verbal cues like the posture, eye contact, that tells different story aside from your message. It can strengthen your message. It can make people feel like you are uninterested or just going through the motion. You can have the best ideas or you can be the best at delivering, but first you have to get the job. If you don't make it past the interview, no amount of competency, no amount of skills will be able to help. At the end of the day, these are skills, and skills are made better through practice, review, and further practice. Of course, if you want to get better at your communication skills, check out this thing called Toastmasters. So that's it for today's video, and of course, until next time,
成何体统? You see, many of the residents here, they are saluting, they are clapping, they are taking videos because they know that we will stand against the fascist PAP regime.